The proliferation of the internet has brought about revolutionary changes in many facets of our lives, one of which is the manner in which we do our shopping. The expansion of online shopping has been meteoric, and it now provides consumers all over the world with the benefits of ease, variety, and accessibility. However, in order to meet new difficulties and safeguard the legal rights of enterprises and customers alike, existing laws will need to be modernized to coincide with the advent of the digital transition. In recent years, the United States has seen the enactment of new legislation to regulate online purchasing, with the goals of assuring fair practices, protecting consumers' privacy, and expanding consumer rights. This video examines the important regulations that have shaped the landscape of online purchasing in the United States, as well as the implications those laws have for the future. If you're new to our channel, then subscribe to our channel for further videos. Number 5. Protecting the privacy of consumer information. The California Consumer Privacy Act, CCPA. The California Consumer Privacy Act, CCPA, which began to be enforced on January 1, 2020, is an important step forward in the effort to safeguard the privacy of personal information provided by individuals residing in the United States. It gives people of the state of California increased control over their personal information and requires businesses to disclose how they gather, utilize, and share customer information. In addition, people have the legal right to demand that any personal information about them be removed from public view and to prevent their data from being sold to third parties by exercising their right to opt out. Companies all throughout the country have been prompted by the CCPA to examine their data collecting and privacy policies in order to ensure that they are in line with the provisions of the law. Its influence has been felt well beyond the borders of California as a result of the widespread adoption of the CCPA's guidelines by businesses across the country in an effort to streamline their operations and achieve consistency in the way they manage customer data. The passage of this legislation has prepared the way for enhanced accountability and transparency, which in turn has fostered a greater sense of confidence between customers and online retailers. Number 4. Protection for customers purchasing goods or services via the internet. The Better Online Ticket Sales Act. The ticketing industry has long been plagued by the problem of ticket scalping, which makes it difficult for genuine fans to obtain event tickets at prices that are affordable. This problem was addressed by the Better Online Ticket Sales (BOTS) Act, which was passed into law in 2016, and it takes aim at the use of automated software, sometimes known as bots, which enables ticket scalpers to circumvent purchase limits imposed by event organizers. The BOTS Act makes it criminal to intentionally resell or facilitate the resale of event tickets that were obtained through the use of bots. Additionally, it makes it illegal to circumvent the security measures that are implemented on websites that sell tickets. The law intends to safeguard consumers and ensure fair access to live events by putting an end to unfair tactics that are used when acquiring tickets. This piece of legislation exemplifies the government's commitment to protecting the interests of consumers and maintaining the credibility of the ticketing sector in the digital era. Number 3. Reforms to Section 230 concerning the legal obligations of online platforms. Since the law's passage in 1996, the Communications Decency Act Section 230 has been the focus of much discussion and analysis. This rule treats online platforms as intermediaries rather than publishers, which protects them from being held accountable for the content that is published on their platforms by their users. In recent years, concerns have been expressed over the potential misuse of Section 230 and its influence on online debate, the transmission of dangerous content, and the propagation of misinformation. Section 230 was originally enacted in 1996. As a direct consequence of this, there have been numerous requests for changes to be made to strengthen the accountability of internet platforms for the content that is hosted on their platforms. As of the knowledge cutoff in September 2021, significant federal revisions to Section 230 had not been adopted. Nonetheless, conversations and arguments concerning its reform had gained traction. There have been a number of suggestions made recently that are designed to respect people's rights to freedom of expression while also addressing the problems that are caused by information that is harmful or illegal. Performing Section 230 presents a number of difficulties since any proposed modifications need to take into careful consideration the possible repercussions they may have for online innovation, free expression, and the capacity of platforms to effectively control material. To ensure that online platforms can take necessary action against harmful information while still maintaining an open and inclusive digital environment is essential to find the correct balance. Number 2. ShopSafe Act, a measure to strengthen enforcement of laws regarding counterfeits sold online. The proliferation of fake goods in the market has been facilitated by the proliferation of online marketplaces, which puts customers in danger, tarnishes the name of legitimate companies, and competes unfairly with legitimate competitors. The ShopSafe Act was initially proposed by the Senate in the year 2020 in response to the realization that there was a need for more stringent enforcement measures against counterfeiters. The purpose of the ShopSafe Act is to ensure that online marketplaces are held responsible for the sale of counterfeit goods that occur on their sites. It mandates the implementation of specific safeguards, such as confirming the identities of high-volume third-party sellers and eliminating listings that infringe upon intellectual property rights, and it imposes these safeguards on marketplaces. This piece of law intends to safeguard consumers from being defrauded in online transactions by requiring online marketplaces to take on a greater share of responsibility in the fight against the growth of counterfeit goods. Number 1. The Wayfair decision and the issue of fairness concerning sales tax. The decision that the Supreme Court handed down in June 2018 on South Dakota of Wayfair Incorporated was a significant moment in the progression of the law pertaining to internet purchasing. This historic ruling reversed the long-standing rule that required companies to have a physical presence in a state before being forced to collect sales tax. This precedent has been in place for quite some time. The court acknowledged that the prior law gave an unfair advantage to online retailers, which resulted in inequalities between traditional businesses and e-commerce platforms. These differences led to the need for the court to make a decision. As a result of the Wayfair decision, states now have the ability to mandate that online retailers collect sales tax regardless of whether or not the business has a physical presence in the state. This change was made with the intention of leveling the playing field and giving conventional shops a chance to compete more successfully. However, this also presents issues for small businesses operating online, as it can be difficult and time-consuming to comply with the complicated tax regulations that are imposed by many jurisdictions. Despite this, the ruling represented a significant advance toward the goal of promoting tax justice and improving the state's ability to generate income. Potential consequences and obstacles in the future. Despite the fact that the laws discussed above constitute substantial achievements toward the goal of regulating online purchasing in the United States, the ever-changing nature of e-commerce presents ongoing issues that require legal frameworks to be continuously adapted. The enforcement of laws across state and international borders is one such problem that must be overcome. Because online buying transcends regional boundaries, it is becoming increasingly difficult to ensure that laws are enforced in a consistent and effective manner. In order to prevent fraud, defend consumer rights, and encourage fair competition in the global digital marketplace, cooperation between jurisdictions on both the domestic and international levels is very necessary. In addition, developing technologies such as artificial intelligence and blockchain bring potential as well as challenges with regard to online buying. These technologies have the ability to improve the experiences of consumers, increase the transparency of supply chains, and further reinforce cybersecurity. However, they also provide fresh legal problems such as the security of data, the elimination of algorithmic bias, and the rights to intellectual property, which call for continual legislative attention and the ability to react to changing circumstances. Consumers now have access to an unmatched level of convenience as well as a plethora of goods and services thanks to the proliferation of online shopping, which has fundamentally altered the nature of the retail industry. The passing of new laws in the United States has been done with the intention of addressing the difficulties that have arisen as a result of the digital revolution. These new laws have been enacted in an effort to ensure tax justice, protect consumer privacy, strengthen consumer protection, and fight counterfeiting. However, as the ecosystem of online commerce continues to grow, regulators need to remain watchful, anticipating and responding to emerging concerns in order to keep a digital marketplace that is fair, secure, and trusted for all stakeholders. The United States of America is able to continue to capitalize on the promise of online shopping, while simultaneously protecting the interests of both consumers and businesses by striking the appropriate balance between regulation and innovation. This is it for today's video. Make sure to press that subscribe button and bell icon for latest updates.